It's your boy Ace back with another one. We on upload from 40. 40 out here. We're approaching the hill. We're not even gonna get over it. We're not gonna get over it.
You're gonna be at the top
We're
of that
gonna
hill.
keep bringing that same hype every day. Ain't nothing changed. All right,
Yeah,
so
buddy.
I know there's not much need for an introduction, but I'm gonna let my co-host do his thing.
It's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of ATAS across time and space. And you know what? In that countdown, I'm singing this song, right? I'm singing this song, and I always say, many mighty mice are making midnight music in the moonlight, mighty nice. But today I was like, 40 blind mice are making midnight music in the moonlight. Oh, I was getting it in 40, man. It feels good to be back.
40.
Yeah. Over here on Cross Culture, all right? Cross Culture for the anniversary edition. Every time.
CXC.
Every
you already
time.
know where we at.
Yeah. I throw it up.
All right. So, if you didn't know, I'm gonna tell you, we are reading Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari, and I don't know if I actually said this last week.
It's so important.
I was planning on just finishing the chapter, so I know there was like a good 15 minutes after the 30-minute chunk, but I was like, man, just get it in.
Let's just do it, man. Yeah. Honestly, like I told last week, I almost did it, and you had to reel me back in. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Spoilers.
That's you know what happens. So we're listening to it on Scribd. We're listening to this book, Homo Deus, depending on how you pronounce it, on Scribd, and you can actually listen at 1 time speed or 1.2 or 1.5 up to 3 times speed. So when I'm listening the second, third, or fourth time, I'm listening at like 1.2 just to kind of remind myself what was going on. So I think the timer adjusts itself to that speed, and it looked like I only had 25 minutes. I was like, all right, that's probably what happened. But most of our listeners are probably taking the time digesting it. It's their first time with this kind of heavy content. So let's get into it. And I'm glad that you had that introduction right there, because one of our listeners told me last week or the week before last, it's like it took a minute to find out what you guys were talking about. I was like, we're talking about Homo Deus.
It must have been on your stream, because I keep this thing scrolling the whole time. This thing will be scrolling across the screen.
I'm gonna take that. Take that scroll. He was listening on Spotify, I think, though. That's what
okay. Yeah. So maybe we need to say that a few more times during the stream. Yeah, hopefully it comes up organically.
Chapter 1.
Well, no, Harari. All right, so you already know that we got the comments rolling in already, and I gotta throw this one up on the screen. Heading towards that midlife crisis episode. Mercy.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna call it a crisis. We're gonna call it the midlife journey episode.
The journey. How about the catabasis? The catabasis.
Whoa! You're using $5 words. You're gonna have to define that.
Hey, my whole dictionary is $5, man. This is how it works. Well, catabasis is that it's the tunnel that sometimes you go through in life where if other people are in there in the tunnel with you, then great. But most of the time you got to go through those things yourself. And at the end of the tunnel, you can, come out on the other side and be in a different state of mind, a different, different way of living based on the growth that's happened inside the tunnel. But then again, sometimes people get lost in the tunnel. They don't continue to follow towards that light. And, it could take longer than it's supposed to. So, at midlife, sometimes you feel like you're going through something kind of on your own. It's called the midlife crisis, but it could be a catabasis, and you're moving from just being a worker bee to being a king. All right, moving up to that kingdom and having your kingdom. And what a king is a good king is a good servant to the people. All right, the people being his family and those closest in his community. So that's Yeah, no, I'm not. Well, I mean, if you give me a pulpit, I'm gonna do what I got to do. But a lot of people kind of go through different catabasis phases at the 12s in life. So, the first one being around 12 years old, right? You're not gonna be a child anymore. You're moving towards, adolescence. All right, and your body's starting to go through changes, and each person's change is individual to themselves, but also, like we all go through adolescence, like we've all been through it. But when you're going through it yourself, it's like, what's going on here? This, it sometimes it feels like you're on your own. So that's the first one. Another one is at 24, where you're moving out of that education phase towards standing on your own and building your frame phase. At 36, you've got your frame and you're building your family. And then the next one is 48, and now you're mid-career, all right, and you're really starting to shine, like not just you doing the work, but also starting to pass on things that you've learned to your crew, right, your team, around 48ish. And then the next one at 60, you're finishing up work basically, and then looking to the next 60 years of life. All right, now, all right, I'm only 38, so I haven't seen what it looks like at the second half of life, but I'm looking forward to 120, and so I'm at about a fourth of the way right now.
Okay.
That being said, where you at?
Look, I'm younger than you, so I'm really not there. So
you coming up on it?
You said 36.
36.
Okay. I can see that, building a family, building a household, all that type of stuff. I can see that. I can see that happening in my own life. But man, I don't know. 48 seems like it's so far off. But it's like, I feel like once I blink, it's going to be there.
Yeah. 48. It may be defined a lot by, like, the kids, what your kids are going through at that time, right? You're starting to see like an older version of them, and then remembering what you were like at that age and trying to, educate around there. 48. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it yet. Obviously, I'm just sorting out, finishing my 36, like catabasis, or even, in other traditions, there were cultures, there was a rite of passage at those kind of times. Around age 12, the teenage years, there's a different rite of passage. Jewish people have their, the boys have their bar mitzvah, right? It's 13.
And the girls have their bat mitzvah.
Bat mitzvah. Spanish, or Hispanic cultures have, I don't know, like it's all Hispanic cultures, but like quinceañera, let's see, at
really
20,
only for the girls, so.
Yeah, but at in your early 20s, basically most people are graduating, right? There's a rite of passage right there. You're ending the formal education, right?
Yeah.
But then in your 30s, you don't really see it. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's the getting the house. Maybe it's the, something around there though, like happens that you say, oh, well, wow, all right, this is grown man stuff going on.
Stuff. Yeah.
Stuff. Don't worry, I'm gonna keep it 100 for cross culture.
Keep it 100, but keep it PG. So the thing about it is that growing up, you make a lot of mistakes, and mistakes don't always have to be a bad thing. For us to fail means that we are not trying, not that we've tried and that it hasn't come out the way we want to. One company that might know something about that is Pfizer, as discussed in this chapter. And
okay, you went there. I thought you were gonna jump. I thought you were gonna jump over it. You took the blue pill in order to jump into it.
That's too many levels for them. That's too many levels.
It's a lot of levels.
But anyone who knows about the blue pill, I'm not gonna go too far into it, but Pfizer was actually just trying to make a pill to help with hypertension, high blood pressure, and they came up with the blue pill. If you don't know what the blue pill is, you're probably not old enough to ask about it. So chill.
But too young to need to know.
Too young to need to know. Yeah. There you go. But they came to this realization that their mistake actually had a market, and they marketed the blue pill for that market. I'm going to stop saying market. Another thing was that plastic surgery. Plastic surgery started off as something that was medically needed,
True.
Reconstructive surgery.
Now not for me,
it's,
but,
I mean, you might need, no.
It was needed. It was needed.
So reconstructive surgery is different. You get in a car accident, need to get a skin graft and all that type of stuff. Maybe rhinoplasty because your nose is looking kind of crazy. But now people get rhinoplasty just because, I don't want my nose to look so black. So let me thin it out, straighten it out and all that stuff. Or, so many other things that people get plastic surgery on just because they don't like the way they look. They want to look a certain way. They want to have a certain aesthetic. But
true.
These are the things that go forward, right? So I just wanted to hit on that because a lot of people, we capitalize on our own mistakes, but we don't see the outcome. And some of the best things that we have, like sticky notes, are actually a mistake.
Those are a mistake?
They are a mistake. So
I put them up on my calendar by mistake. I don't know if you guys can see that over there. Yeah.
A very intentional mistake.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be an adhesive, like an actual adhesive, like a glue, but it didn't stick the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So you get these pieces of paper that come off pretty easily, but they stick to other things pretty easily. Sticky notes.
You know what? Let me just use this. Because look, the boss is expecting this stuff to be able to stick permanently. It's not quite doing that, but hey, by the way, we do have this one that doesn't leave glue on the object. Stick it there, and then when you don't need it, you can take it right back off. That's smart.
Too smart.
But the thing is, I guess it's smart to make a mess, or make a message out of the mess. All right, to make lemonades out of your lemons. All right. I think there is a story in there, and this section, it was asking us, or asking the reader, these types of questions about, would you eliminate some of the issues in DNA, or some of the challenges that that person may face in life? But those challenges themselves, like the way that that person reacts to them, could be the thing that changes the game for everybody. So
definitely so.
Yeah, I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I'm really thinking about that point. That there is something to be made of the things that look like problems. From problems, we find solutions.
From problems, we find solutions. And some people, like those that get plastic surgery, not knocking it, do you? But they don't want to have those blemishes, So one way to get past the blemishes is to just make a designer baby, eugenics, getting them good genes, I can't remember exactly who it was in the chapter, but it talks about the anecdote between a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and a beautiful woman. It says, "Oh, can you imagine, the kids that we can make, basically?" And
that's what it
boils down to.
Your brain and my beauty. And then they switched it on its head and said, "Well, can you imagine my brain and your beauty?" I think.
Some along those lines.
It seemed like the same thing to me, the way it said it.
I know. But it that's what it comes down to. So now we get to the point where it's possible now. They have done a lot of research into this, where you can actually get a designer baby. You can. It's possible, but it is ethically frowned upon. Therefore, it has not gotten the green light in the States. In the UK, on the other hand, it's legal. So you get these people, you want to get together and say, oh, we're going to fertilize so many eggs with, your sperm, and we're going to make sure that everything is taken care of. Baby comes out exactly how you want. But another issue came up, and it was talking about the mitochondrial DNA being faulty.
Right. Faulty? Oh.
So like, if, let's say, me and my wife have a child, and the mitochondrial DNA is, predisposed to X, Y, and Z, because apparently the mitochondrial DNA is different from the actual DNA in the body. So it's it's
the nuclear DNA. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I want to. I feel like I'm running away with it. But
no. I'm wherever it lands. That's where I want to jump in there.
Having 3 parents, it's possible to get the egg fertilized and then take the mitochondrial DNA from somebody else. Insert that so that they're no longer predisposed to the things that the parents were. And it's a true story. Like, this has already happened. Somebody has 3 parents out there.
Well, they did it once in the States.
Yeah.
They did it once in the States, and then, we outlawed it here, but then it's allowed in the UK. Right. So again, it's like, it's not ethically supported, because I guess it's so different. But if the neighbors start doing it, if the Johnsons are doing it, if my daughter's classmates are all designer babies, and she's the only one that had to deal with like good old fashioned hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
Why? Why? If it's affordable, I think that a lot more people are going to do it.
I mean, it's one of the things that the book does talk about. The book being Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. We're just getting to the end of chapter 1. What was stated in this section was that, what if the Koreans are doing it and the Chinese are doing it? Why wouldn't we do these things? Because then we would be at a disadvantage not doing these things. And also that all of these big scientific advances, or the advances for the general populace, start off in the medical field. Right. So you can say, go ahead, hit it.
No. It's just like, I mean, we say, or don't do it, right? You say it's illegal, but it's a good possibility that it's happening somewhere else legally, or that people are just doing it behind the scenes anyway. Private institutions, whatever. Oh, I could lose my job for this. Oh, yeah, I know. Or you can make a lot of money from this and keep it moving, right? Like, I mean, our competitive advantage as a country, when you think about it, like, systemically, if we allow other countries to go ahead and go for it, and we're the only ones, saying that, for our, traditional values, we don't think that's a good idea. 40, 50 years from now, when those kids grow up and they're just like on top of the game, what are you supposed to do at that point? All right. Not going to be able to catch up, or things might go another direction. You go ahead and try with that eugenics thing and it doesn't work out. And their whole, country, or their whole generation that was, doing these designer babies, they have all kinds of other problems that we're not used to dealing with. And we wouldn't have to deal with because we didn't go that way.
I see.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble either way, right? So why not try to load the dice and stack the deck? That's why I see the argument going. If I could give my child every single possible advantage, why wouldn't I? I mean, and that's how parents think now, without eugenics in the mix.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Yeah. They use education, these barriers in education, where they make private school is extremely expensive, just to make sure that their kid, is surrounded by other kids in affluent families, for one reason or another, they have their money, right? It could have been, that they studied their butts off. But then I was just watching this. I was watching Westworld the other day.
Westworld.
And yeah, and there was a comment. I mean, it's very relevant to this whole idea of,
go ahead,
and all that. But I watched. There's this one comment this lady made, and she was rich, and there's another rich man, but he like studied his butt off, and she's like, "Yeah, I remember you from school. You were studying so hard. That's only what the poor kids do." And I was like, geez, like, wow, that's an interesting perspective. And I wonder if people think like that, that if you're so rich, you don't need to study, but then you have the poor kids that are just studying so hard because they want to attain more. Yeah, you might have a situation where they're more heavily loaded, like knowledge base or study. These are like study habits and everything. Maybe that's just for those who really, 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 really have to work hard, in order to improve their social status.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time with immigrant families in the U.S. Especially those from the West Indies.
Wow, they're so smart. Yeah.
They're not all that smart, but they're hard freaking workers.
Hard working, yes.
Look, they say that hard work will beat talent 100% of the time. So just because you're born with a predisposed to, being smart, maybe you have less of a separation in your hemispheres, maybe your brain just works a little bit better from the get-go, from the time you're a baby. The person that comes along and says, you know what? I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to devote my life to learning this until I learn it. Like, period. So, I mean, how many?
Who's going to win?
I'm going to throw you on the spot. I'm going to throw you on the spot because I've seen this in your life because you told me about it.
Okay.
Where were you born? Let's start off there.
I'm born in Hartford, Connecticut. I'm an American.
Hartford, Connecticut. Okay. And where do you live now?
Live in Japan. Chiba, Japan.
Okay. All right. So, on average, how many people can recognize the amount of kanji characters that you can recognize? How many national-born Japanese citizens?
Recognize? That's interesting.
Because you've taken what level of the test have you gone through now?
I'm at I've passed level 2. And level 2 means got 2,136 kanji under the belt. I'm able to produce them when needed. I'm able to read them when needed. I know their opposites. I know their etymology, all that good stuff. But that level is, you've passed high school, you're ready for university. Now, is that saying that all university students are at that level? No, but they should be. They should be. All right. And if they aren't, then, they'll have a lower score. But on average, they should be about there. Now, are all adults on the same level as university students? No. Because you study your butt off in school in order to get into university, in order to get a good job. Once you're in university, you really don't have to study that hard in Japan. In the States, you do have to keep studying. Yeah. So it's an interesting question. Maintaining your education. How important is maintaining your education after graduation? Back there, does that determine your socioeconomic status? Does it make a big difference? How good you were at algebra at this point in your life, because I still got, I got my little GMAT math over there. It's looking at me. I'm looking at it. I'm still on my brilliant.
Brilliant. Oh, yeah. I mean, I liked it for a little bit, but it didn't seem like it was something I could really get into. I mean, I try to use whatever skills I can. So I remember specifically in college using an exponential growth formula because we wanted to chart how many people were coming to chapel as far as attendance. We want to increase that number by 10% each week.
Okay.
So, we did that whole exponential growth formula. The fact that I know
in college, huh?
In college, yeah. And this was something I learned in high school. Knowing that most chemical reactions will yield carbon and water, just little tiny things, knowing Avogadro's number, calculating the moles of any given element in a space, the periodic table, these are things that I enjoyed learning and it stuck with me. So when people say, oh yeah, I just got these pictures developed, and it's like, oh yeah, I took a class in that. And I know that it's photogenic salts that are in the paper. Like, I try to use it whenever I can so that I don't lose it. The little bit of Japanese that I know, I'm constantly trying to use it so that I don't lose it. It's important to keep, not mainly to keep studying. You don't always have to learn new things.
You don't want to lose what you got.
Exactly. But learning new things will help with Alzheimer's. Just constantly learning something new. Yeah, it'll keep you ahead of that curve.
Right. Like, I think, like the eugenics movement, doing it the scientific way and just going there and changing genes is one way to kind of continue doing what they've been doing. And that's, give certain people the opportunity, more opportunities to stay ahead, right? Make the game, and then rig the game so that you're at the forefront. But if you use education or use the tools available to you, and also, if your mind is open and your eyes are open to possibilities, that, if I study this really hard, if I work really hard, I can actually get somewhere with this. I mean, I think the DNA at that point shouldn't matter that much, but that could be my disposition because of my genes. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's like, where do you cut it? Because you're saying to give everybody an even playing field, but wouldn't giving everybody an even playing field be letting everybody benefit from eugenics? But then it becomes a thing of your socioeconomic status, and now people are still at a disadvantage. You see it in these post-apocalyptic movies and TV shows where stuff like cyberpunk, you get different cybernetic enhancements, but you also have like the black market and used stuff versus new and designer. It's not going to work as good, but it's still going to get me by type stuff. And I think that we might be going there with eugenics. It's lucrative and possible to sell organs on the black market, and it's not legal, but it's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a black, what was it, the black internet or something, the dark internet?
The black net, dark web.
The dark web, yeah. It does exist, and it's, you can get whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Not that I've been there or anything, but
I haven't touched it. I haven't seen it. I don't even know where it exists. It's like dark matter. I don't know if it's really there, but it must.
The pirates of dark water. Like,
that being said, the direction that the book is taken, I think the author was saying that even though he's making these predictions that people will collectively, reach for immortality, bliss, and divinity. Kept saying that again and again. Even though they're going to keep reaching for these things, that doesn't mean that man will attain it within the 21st century, and people are going to continue to collectively or in different pockets, people will continue to struggle with poverty. They're going to struggle with war. It's not that those problems that we've, discussed up to this point are completely gone, but the attention has shifted. And I don't even know if that's necessarily a good thing. We should, until every person has a meal and all poverty is extinguished, we should not be trying to land on Mars, is what some people would say. But
I mean,
look, people's concerns are people's concerns, and if they're not that concerned, they're not. Can't force them.
I mean, it's not going to happen like that. Honestly, I mean, the biggest question that we have to ask ourselves is, what will tomorrow look like? We can try to study history and study the exponential growth and spread of knowledge, but we'll never be able to pinpoint it exactly. And you got to just jump into the good book, man, because it already tells you what's happening, what's going to happen. That's just how I govern my life. I just want to throw it out there like that. But
okay.
Go ahead.
No, you had it as a question, and it's like, he's got a banner up here and it says, "What will tomorrow look like?" Folks, who are listening on Spotify and Google Podcasts. So yeah, I do like to look to the good book, but at the end of the good book, we have this, Armageddon situation, and I don't know how to avoid the Armageddon. You can't, right?
No,
you can't. So,
well,
when I was 16, I thought Armageddon was going to come at 2000. And, or within 20 years of 2000. Within 20 years of 2000, there was a lot of preachers on TV saying, "Look, unless we got it completely wrong, and I don't think we did. The end of the world is going to be here by 2020, at least, because we got 2,000 years after Jesus." And that. I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm all in. I can see it. I can go through the whole book. Boom, 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 boom. Man, it's 2022, and it ain't over yet.
Matthew 24:6.
Matthew 24:6. Oh, you were just had.
No, not 24:6.
What?
It says in Matthew 24, no man knows the day nor the hour.
No man knows
we try to, we try to calculate it so that we can say, oh yeah, if I can get just before that point and then give my life to Christ, I'll be good. But it's something that you got to live. It's something that you got to feel in your heart of hearts that you want to do, what you're gonna do. Period. Because the biggest deception that Satan has for us is that we have time. But you don't even know if you're gonna drop dead the next second. Honestly.
Well, we shouldn't. We shouldn't though. We shouldn't.
We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't.
No, I mean, like we shouldn't drop dead the next second. Unless something's terribly, terribly wrong. We're supposed to live to like 80, right? Like a man.
I mean, that's great, but you never know. You never know.
Why?
Sodium, like just the silent killer. Stress and sodium and hyper. Yeah, but I mean, you might not know. You just might not know.
Well, that's the thing. So you start to live your life, like trying to grow some more hairs on your head, right? No man can grow hairs on his head or something. But you live your life like trying to keep the hairs you got, expecting to have like 80 years ahead. And it is presumptuous. I'll give it that. You don't know if tomorrow is gonna come. Let tomorrow take care of itself. Do what you're supposed to do today. Is one way to think about it, and it's a good way to think about it. But at the same time, it's like, all right, I want to set my family up for success. The next generation. I want to make sure that the apple falls close to the tree. I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, yesterday's building blocks. Today's foundation, right? Based on what we've done up till now, we've got a foundation to build into the future, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I get where you're going with that. At the same token, like you said, it's not promised. One of my favorite writers actually says, prepare every day as if it's your last, but live every day as if you're going towards eternity. So it's it's like make sure that you are stayed up and blessed every day, because you don't know when that last day is going to be. I mean,
but walk like you're gonna be walking for the rest of the eternity.
Yeah. Walk like tomorrow isn't your last day, but prepare as if it will be. So it's kind of that dichotomy. You know, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be frivolous. I'm just gonna waste my money, blah blah blah. You know, tomorrow's not coming, and then tomorrow comes, and then you don't have. So it's like put all your ducks in the line every single day, so that 20 years down the line, you're not like, oh, let me scramble.
Yeah. That makes sense. And that's why, you know, we be on that S health. You know, I think this week I didn't put out the challenge, the Jesus Walks challenge, but you know, something I've been thinking about. Yeah, I know, man. I'm getting torn up, man. Every time I put it out there, it's like, oh, I got another 20,000 today. What? How? What did you do? Where you been, man?
I never get 20,000 a day. Don't try and play.
But yeah, it's been interesting though. Like something I'm thinking about putting out there, and you know, our listeners, maybe they can just give like a comment, just kind of, you know, bouncing some ideas off you guys. But yeah, just having like our mailing list for our dedicated folks. You know, if they want to get down on that challenge, you can join in. Also, we're looking at some giveaways for our dedicated folks. For our dedicated folks on the 50th anniversary, right? I know we were talking about that before. 50 episode, 50th anniversary. You know, like yeah. 50, 75, 100. You know, yeah. We walking like we're gonna be walking for eternity. So I'm like, all right. Well, you know what? What if we have some giveaways? Yeah, on those for people in our mailing list. We haven't put out the mailing list yet. It's going to be some time, I think, based on the different things that are happening in our lives right now. But when we come back, we're going to come back that much stronger. And yeah, we want to have you guys on for the journey. So if you want to walk with us, all right, we got this Jesus Walks Challenge. All right, if you want to walk with us, let us know. Hit us up in the comments section. It's your boy TPC Japan telling you that's what it is.
I already know it's your boy of cross culture, Ace. And definitely be on the lookout. We're trying to do big things before years end. We got stuff in the pipeline. Make sure that you stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. If you're on Spotify, make sure that you are coming back week after week. We're going to have to try to have those new episodes at the very least, 1 week out from the original date, and I'm working on that myself. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you hit the notification bell and you hit all notifications so that
all notifications.
The moment we go live,
the
moment we go live, you know about it. And we try to schedule our live streams so you'll actually get the notification then.
That's the better way. Just have it, lined up. All right, they're going live. Let me get in there 5 minutes early, get some popcorn, get yourself a pen, a pad, write it down. What we talking about, or write down your thoughts when you're listening to Homo Deus. Write it down and say, I wonder if they're going to talk about this. Or, hey, TBC Japan, what you thought about that eugenics thing, man?
Yeah. We will take all questions, comments, and concerns from the comment section, either live or post record.
Right, and then get back to it the following week for sure. All right. It's been wonderful, yeah. It's this is the big 40. It's the big 40, so we're going for 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
In case y'all are wondering, all right. I just wanted to make sure there's a reason why we're just going on, but all good things must
go on and on and on and on and on now.
Yeah. So the next time, we got to wrap it up. It's going to be on me. It's on 41. Yeah. But
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay. I'll let the people know. All right. So tune into TPC Japan. Take a look at what's scheduled or when it's scheduled. The next episode is scheduled, and get that notification when it's time. All right. It's been your boy TPC Japan telling you that's what it is again. Mada des. All right. All right.
Until next time, stay prayed up. Be blessed.
Bleach.